Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Air Misfit. It's been a little bit, probably about a month or so since I've done my last video on anything, and it's been a long while since I've done a video on Star Wars, and that is the content that I originally had started this channel for, was for Star Wars, and I kind of made it my own personal vlog or whatever you want to call it, video journal, anything like that. Um, but really wanted to do a video off of the latest stuff on The Mandalorian, um, and some of my theories and things like that. Today is the day that the last episode for season three, the season three finale, um, is airing, and some people are saying possibly the series finale, depending on what theory or things turn of events happens. And so I wanted to do a video before I watched the last episode. I wanted to do this video yesterday, but I had some sick kids at home, and it just and yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of the car tire blowing up in my face and getting the first part of my traumatic brain injury, or TBI. Um, and so it just, things did not work out to do the video. But I definitely want to get this video done before I watch the episode. And so it's been killing me that usually I get up first thing, watch the episode and stuff. And so I've been up a few hours and I haven't seen the episode. Um, but I still have a few sick kids at home and I'm not feeling quite 100%. So, um, you might hear some noises, things in the background, and I was going to do this video in my hallway, because I have that nice Death Star poster that I got a really good deal on, and a bunch of my other Star Wars collectibles and stuff. And I figured, talking about Star Wars, that would be the perfect background to have. But well, yeah, kids here going in and out. I decided to come to the bedroom, and I have, of course, my dino themed fish tank behind me, which I've been trying to do a video on. It was the only tank that I hadn't done a video on, and it has changed drastically several times over the last few months. Hopefully soon I'll get a video on it. Uh, have a new tank right over here over my shoulder. Um, and it's just kind of a miscellaneous grow out tank. It's got some shrimp in it, some plecos in it, some baby mosquito fish that are almost fully grown to go into the mini fish pond that I finally got set up outside. So a lot of stuff's been going on, a lot of things I want to do videos on. Um, Back to doing videos on laptop, finally got that unburied of stuff and just doing things, and remembering how much I hated the video quality on it. But someone gave me a bunch of networking gear and things and old computer stuff that they were no longer using. There's a webcam in there. I'm going to try it out, see how it is. Still working on finding some video editing equipment, because that's what I really want to do. I want to do more with Star Wars than just you guys looking at my ugly mug, and me talking about it. Actually, edit in some either videos, pictures, anything of what I am talking about, as well as getting the content that I put out, because I'm able to edit it instead of doing it all in one take. Um, and then one of the things I was able to get is one of these ring camera things. It was on clearance at GameStop with all my discounts, everything else, reward points and things that I had. I got it for less than $5, and so that will help with. I'm going to be doing a lot of my videos in my house where I have poor lighting, unfortunately. So that should really help. Because right now my big fat head is blocking a nice glare from my bedroom light off of the fish tank. So if I move just right, you might get blinded, and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so that's enough of the updates of things going on with me. Let's get into talking about Mandalorian. There are a lot of fan theories and things going out there and stuff, and first off, there's talk about this being the end of the Mandalorian. And a couple reasons for that. There's been articles back and forth and different things. Nothing that I've seen that really is official. It's just hearsay from different sources. Some are better sources than others, but there was talk about that finally Kathleen Kennedy was going to get the boot and was leaving Disney, and it's turned around that now she's staying and she's trying to get rid of John and Dave and other people in Star Wars that are preventing her from doing what she wants to do, and other people threatening to leave because Kathleen's getting in the way of what they want to do. It's just this whole big thing. Honestly, with Disney and with Star Wars and things, when it happens, and we'll know for sure. There are things that I have not liked about that has happened with Star Wars since Disney has taken over, and there are things that I love about it. But what I am happy about is that I have Star Wars. Um, and so we'll just go with it. What happens. And um, if I mean, and I could understand if John River leaves or if Dave Finelli leaves or anything like that. Yeah, I can definitely see this being the end of the Mandalorian, and that could have a factor in it. Other thing I want to talk about is Pedro Pascal's possibility of leaving the show. I know he has been unhappy with it. He has expressed different things about it, about wanting to leave the show, and that it wasn't what he had expected or had wanted to do. I know he has strongly voiced and made missions and kind of telling people, no, this is what I want the Mandalorian to do. And I know people at Disney and Star Wars are not happy with that. And so, yeah, this most likely is Pedro Pascal's last season as the Mandalorian. Um, I know this season he is just the voice for it. He really isn't in the costume. Um, but a couple things along with that is also there was talk about now I'm blanking on his name. I believe it was Carl Urban taking over as the Mandalorian. And if so, for season 4, that would be awesome. He would be an awesome actor for it, and he would do a phenomenal job for it. We'll just have to see. There's also talk of Cara Dune returning for season 4 and all that. So a lot of different things, but at the same time, depending on how stuff goes, this could be the last season and none of that stuff happens. We'll just have to see. So now the other things for the episode itself is the last episode 7, was titled The Spies. Oh, that has created such a discussion point, is what we'll call it, on social media, of what that implies. Now, one thing we have seen with Star Wars, and especially with The Mandalorian, is that they like to lead you in one direction and then all of a sudden it takes a completely different direction, which tends to be better than what we were thinking was going to happen. And it just, keeps us on our toes and things like that. And so a lot of people are saying that the Spies referenced, obviously, Hallie Kane. I believe that's how you say her name. I am horrible at names right now. I'm with my passion from allergies and other stuff. I'm not able to pronounce everything exactly right now. But yeah, obviously that was it has to be one of the spies that they were referencing. That she was still working for Moff Gideon, and that was confirmed. There was always it alluded to that she was working for Moff Gideon and stuff, but that is actually confirmed. And so she's obviously one of the spies inside the Republic that's still working for Gideon and the Empire. The other thing is that it could very well mean the probe droid that she talked to was the other spy, because a lone probe droid operating on Coruscant is probably going to get some notice. It would not surprise me. I know a lot of the show has been about abandoning the Imperial technique or technology and not using it and destroying it, but obviously some things are going to have to be used, and would not be surprising if the Imperial probe droids were requisitioned for the New Republic and they are being used for surveillance and security. And so a lone Imperial probe droid working for the Empire amongst all those, it would be reasonable, and that could be the other spy. And then everything else is just being blown out of proportion, and those are the spies. The other theories are the armorer is the spy. You look at her helmet, and she's got little horn pieces and things like some of the Mandalorians from Death Watch that followed Darth Maul had, as well as then they were some of the ones that were following the Empire during its reign over Mandalore and stuff. And so that there's talk that that is who is the spy. Because obviously she's the armorer, she's the smither. They're going to this forge, and you would think that she would want to be the one who goes and sees the forge, but she leaves to take the wounded off of the planet before they go find the forge. And so, but at the same time, she seems to me one who would she cares about Mandalorian. She cares about people, and she sees that it would be better for her to take the people back. So it could just be that her nature is to take care of Mandalorians, and that's what she's doing, and that supersedes her wanting to see the Forge of Mandalore. I personally, my personal opinion is that's more of what it is she sees in that moment that is how she best serves the Mandalorian people. It could also be that she's trying to get out of there, and I know some of the talk on social media is that she was surprised that the fleet was still there. She was expecting it maybe to be gone or something at that point, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. I personally do not want to see the armorer be the spy, but with Star Wars, it could very well turn out that is the case. I personally feel that she was just doing what was best, and to some degree, her taking those people out is a way of preserving some of the Mandalorian leadership in the writing of Star Wars. Is knowing this trap was coming. I mean, they wrote her to leave so that they still had a leader type that wasn't involved in the trap. The next talk is Axe Woves being the spy, which very well could be. Was not happy about Bo-Katan taking back over the fleet, and not necessarily happy working with the Children of the Watch and stuff. And but from what we've seen of him is, and yes, he's gone more the mercenary route and stuff, but we've also seen that he does care about Mandalorians and Mandalorian traditions, and I do not see him setting up a trap. If it was just the Children of the Watch, yes, but he had some of his own group of Mandalorians down there, and I just do not see him as the type that would really set up his fellow Mandalorians that he's been working alongside all this time. And there's talk about, well, the ship was gone, so where did, you can't get communications off the surface. Where is he going when he leaves that group of Mandalorians? And part of me is wondering, is people like, oh, it's only been a few minutes, there's no way that she can get back. Well, it's only been a few minutes of actual watching television. A lot of time could have passed of them walking in the tunnels that they're just not going to show on television. It very well could be that he is hoping that the armorer has returned to the surface and he is trying to get to the gauntlet and to R5, um, so that they can go and get the reinforcements. So honestly, that's what I'm kind of hoping is that's what it was. Is he was just hoping that he was going to get back to the gauntlet as the gauntlet was coming back to the surface so that they could get reinforcements and go from there. I just, but it could be that he's the spy. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm dying to see this episode now. Well, have been for a week, but yeah, it's hard for me to see him as the spy, but there is part of me that I could see him as a spy. I just, unless it was members of his group that he knew were more loyal to Bo-Katan than himself, and he's just trying to get rid of them. I just don't see him wanting to hurt his fellow Mandalorians like that. Now, other talk has been Casca Reeves is the spy. Now, there's less theories about this one, but I have seen a few things mention her that it's possible that when Gideon was in the ISB for the Empire and things and had spent time on Mandalore and then ultimately was the one who was overseeing Mandalore's destruction, is that it is possible that she is Moff Gideon's daughter and that it was revealed to her at some point and things like that, and ultimately she has secretly been working inside the Mandalorians all this time for Moff Gideon. It's possible. She was Bo-Katan's one of her lieutenants, her right hand person. It's just hard for me to see her as the spy as well. But there's that chance. So you don't see a lot of her stuff. She's background. She has some speaking parts. She got in that tussle with Boba Fett and one of the last seasons of some stuff. So it just, yeah, she could be the spy as well. That would be a big turn of events and twist to find out, yeah, she was the spy all along and she's for sure Moff Gideon's daughter. But yeah, it's just hard to see somebody that Bo-Katan trusted being the spy. But Bo-Katan has made lots of mistakes and different things, and we'll see. The other talk is that the Mandalorians that they saw, that they met up with on the surface, are the spies. And out of any of the groups, this is the most likely of me seeing as the spies. There's talk of they've been on the planet. How did they not see Imperial ships flying in and out? How they knew where the forge was. How did they not know that there's an Imperial base right there around the corner and stuff? And I have a couple of theories and opinions about that, of why they might not be the spies. Of one, it probably wasn't uncommon for the Empire to be running surveillance and things on that, making sure that people didn't weren't on the surface and Mandalorians trying to finish off the Mandalorians. So it could be that they saw the ships flying in and out and thought it was just surveillance or whatnot, or going on. The other thing is, yes, they knew where the forge was, but they also made mention of anyone who went underground disappeared. So it could be that they were not going back underground and they were staying as far away from the forge as possible. Just because they knew where it was doesn't mean that they were constantly going to it or seeing it. And the last time they went there, there probably was no Imperial presence as the possibility. And so they had no idea that this Imperial base was being built there. So I kind of hope that it turns out that they're not spies and that they're not betraying them and leading them into an ambush, because at the same time they were in that ambush and they were dying too. But the other thing also that goes to them being a spy is they knew about these big creatures on the surface, and they kind of waited till the last minute to avoid it with their ship before their ship getting destroyed. And part of me is, if they were a spy, trying to take out a bunch of the Mandalorians before the big ambush. But that's very far-fetched too. Then there's other talk, and the reason I'm saving these last two people as spies for, because I really just don't see it, is Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, one or two or both of them being spies of working for the Empire. People are like, oh, well, why did they capture Din Djarin and not just take him away, or just kill him with the rest of them? And part of it is, I think Moff Gideon still wants Grogu, and he knows that he has some bargaining power and things of getting Grogu with Din Djarin, as well as he sees Din Djarin as a way to get to other Mandalorians. These two sects, the children of the Watch, and I'm going to call them Night Owls. I'm not really even sure what you call Bo-Katan's group of Mandalorians right now. They aren't the only two groups of Mandalorians out there. So he could be seeing it as a way to get them, as well as far as he knew as well, Din Djarin had the Darksaber, and he could see it as he needed to take out Din Djarin, and he needed to get the Darksaber from him, only to find out that, wait a minute, he captured Din and he doesn't have the Darksaber. Bo-Katan has the Darksaber again, and that kind of thing. But then, as well as Bo-Katan, I really, her character arc and development, everything, it does not seem plausible for her to be the spy. I can't really even come up with any good reasons to, especially after Moff Gideon had betrayed her in the past. But predictions for this episode, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Luke's going to come back and save Grogu and them and stuff. And I think that was one and done thing. I don't think we're going to see much more of Luke other than occasional run-ins and stuff, if we do see him at all anymore. But knowing that the Ahsoka series is coming out and they just released a bunch of stuff, I really see this season finale as a jumping point for the Ahsoka series of reintroducing those characters live action. Obviously, Ahsoka knows Din Djarin. She knows Bo-Katan from Clone Wars and Rebels. Has somewhat of a friendship with Bo-Katan. At least they have a mutual respect for each other to some degree. Then Sabine, obviously being a Mandalorian, coming to aid, Axe or somebody gets a signal out and they do that, which other people are like, oh, how do the Imperials have a base without getting signal out? I'm jump around. I meant to make this point earlier and I forgot about it and now remembering it. Is the Imperials have a base there. They obviously know about it. They probably have different communication things or just different things that they can do to get signals and other stuff out. I don't think the Empire is as limited by block transmissions as everyone else coming to it, because I think that was by their design. But anyway, so back to it. Yeah. And then we've already mentioned in this episode about Grand Admiral Thrawn at the very beginning of episode 7 and the Shadow Council. And so this is going to be a jumping point to that. So I definitely see Rebels characters, members of the Phoenix Squadron Ghost crew coming in and coming to the rescue. And who knows, even possibly Grand Admiral Thrawn showing up upset with Gideon for him trying to usurp power and stuff. So a lot of things. Obviously, it's going to be a good episode. I know there's a lot of the fan base that lately nothing that comes out Star Wars that they're happy about and they complain about. I'm not one of the. It's going to be good. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love it. It's going to surprise me. It's going to shock me. It's going to keep me on my toes, and it's going to get me geared up for everything else coming out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this and talking about it. I've tried to get into more Star Wars stuff. There's just so much to talk about and so much I want to talk about with Star Wars and do with Star Wars. But for a Star Wars fan, there's a lot to be excited about if we can just let go of our own opinions. A lot of us have grown up with Star Wars. We've gotten into the books, into the EU, or even with the movies and things. And I'm just happy to have Star Wars. I'm happy to be able to talk about Star Wars. If there's something you want me to talk about with Star Wars, let me know. But other than that, I am going to end this video here, upload this to YouTube while I watch the video. It'll probably be a few days before I do a video about the season finale episode, because I usually watch it myself. Then I watch it with my boys because it comes out on Wednesday nights, and that's activity night for our girls at church. So me and the boys watch Star Wars together. And then usually I watch it that night with my wife once she's done and has a chance to watch it. And then usually Thursday, Friday night, I watch it with the rest of the family who hasn't seen it. So it'll probably be third or fourth time around watching it before I do another video about it. But so yeah, I'm going to get that video uploaded, watch the series. I'm also going to do a video today, hopefully get it uploaded today, about the 4-year anniversary of my TBI. Again, thank you guys for your support and for watching. I've only got about 16 followers right now, but like I said, I'm not necessarily doing this for the followers. I'm doing this for the people who want me to do this. And if I grow bigger, as I grow bigger, the channel will change. I might have to divide it up for the multiple things that I talk about, but we'll do that. Anyways, this video is approaching the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to stop rambling on. Again, thank you, and this is the Air Misfit signing off.